Greetings, citizens of the interweb, it's Matt from Hydro Gaming here this week to present a new video showcasing our single-player medieval fantasy RPG that we're creating using the power of the Unreal Engine. This week's episode is a very highly anticipated episode because this is the one where we finally start naming NPCs. Beyond that, we're going to be covering some other stuff we've been doing in the game, going over how dialogue is going to work in Knightwatch, a quick update to how water looks, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the possibility of live streaming so you can see my game dev process. Might be neat for fans to see how things work behind the scenes. Anyways, all that and more coming right up. Roll the intro. I'm so happy to say it, there is actually sentient life, besides the player of course, in the world of Knightwatch. There are townsfolk, guards, crafters, and all sorts of people living their lives in the game. Many of these NPCs will serve as quest givers and merchants, as well as add some much needed flavor to game environments. The nice thing about our NPC system is that it's easily transferable to animal NPCs, which I'm sure a lot of you have already seen scattered throughout other devlogs. So, let's go over some of the game's NPCs, shall we? As I've covered in previous videos, those who comment ideas for quests, items, cool mechanics, etc. will be immortalized in the world of Knightwatch either as an NPC, an item, a quest, a weapon, and so on. For now, as promised, we're naming NPCs in the world of Knightwatch. Let's start with Aiden, our blacksmith, named after user Alpha10, who's been watching the series all the way back since episode 0. And that's the original garbage episode 0, not the remake, so some kudos is due for that achievement alone. Aiden hails from Seda, now a grandiose hold famous for the College of Weavers. You'll learn more about that if you watch the first lore episode, episode 1. Aiden himself, however, has given up weaving. While it is a trait that can be passed down by birth, and he himself is capable, he's chosen the simple life of a crafter in the town of Edenvale. Much of his family still resides in Seda, however Aiden has been disconnected from them for some time, and perhaps one day, the hero of our story will discover why that is, and why Aiden gave up weaving. In the meantime, however, we can count on him and his assistant George to always provide us with sturdy armor and sharp blades. Next on our list is Daniela, named after user Daniela7815, who comes from a long line of alchemists tracing back to the court alchemist who served at the hand of Lucius Vel IV before the collapse of the city of Brevel, a story we'll hear about more in the next lore episode. She doesn't like to talk about her past much, but some townsfolk have heard her whispering to herself about something called the City of the Undead. Nobody has bothered to ask her about it, and many have dismissed these as the ramblings of a stir-crazy potion maker. Maybe our hero can find out more. And last but certainly not least is Ruben, named after user Laris de Young, a gruff shopkeeper and head of the Merchants Guild for Edenvale's Merchant Hub. He's usually kept pretty busy overseeing the hustle and bustle of the town's trading port, a job not made any less stressful by rumors of bandits spotted near the local ruins. Not to mention the added stress of the local guard captain breathing down his neck amidst rumors of his own rival band of thieves and ne'er-do-wells. Stirrings that Ruben himself dismisses as lies spread by competing merchants. Maybe a little more investigation on our part is warranted. As time goes on, we'll be naming more of the game's NPCs, and believe me, I've got quite the list of names I have to work through. If you saw your character appear in this episode, be sure to drop a comment down below and say hi. So I've actually gotten multiple comments related to the new water in the game. The consensus seemed to be that it was a little too clean and transparent. People wanted to see just a little bit more murkiness added to it, so I've done just that. I'll toss a before and after up on screen for you to see the change. So thank you to everyone for those suggestions, and I hope you like the changes to the water. And be sure to let me know in the comments if there are any other changes or tweaks you'd like to see. As I'm sure you can guess, I'm not a voice actor by any stretch of the imagination. This being the case, I won't be doing any voiceovers for characters in the game. This, however, leaves me in a bit of a tricky situation, as I'm not exactly in a place where I can afford to hire my own voice actors for the game. So I'm going to ask you guys for your opinion on my plan of attack. What I was thinking of doing for now is having dialogue boxes appear when you talk to NPCs. Imagine the ones you see in games like Pokemon or older JRPGs. In this case, you would interact with an NPC to engage them in conversation, and their dialogue text would appear on screen alongside a nice character portrait that has been assigned to them. This would be the system we use for the time being, and then at some point down the road, if the game sees some success, we might look at bringing some voice actors on board. I guess that brings me to my next topic. Should I start a Patreon to help support the channel and the game? Right now, as it stands, to make ends meet, I'm actually working 3 jobs, 1 full-time and 2 part-time, hence the slower video output. But if I could start generating a bit of revenue from Knightwatch, I could theoretically drop one of those part-time jobs and invest more time into working on the game, and maybe even set aside some cash for some voice actors. Cheap voice actors, mind you. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And while I've got you guys here, I've been mulling over the idea of doing live streams. Is that something you guys would enjoy? Maybe I'll do another community poll and we can take a vote. I just think it'd be cool for you guys to see the work that goes on behind the scenes, as well as for you to have the opportunity to give me live feedback and suggestions while I'm working on the game. It'd definitely be a lot more efficient than combing through the comments for suggestions, and it might be something cool for you to just have on in the background while you do some gaming or some development of your own. This section of the video is simple enough. I just want to take a nice walkthrough of the town so you can get an idea for the feel of the game world. There is a little bit more environmental work to be done. Truth be told, I've sort of neglected the north end of Edenvale and the mill for a little while, so you may see some unfinished sections. But on the bright side, the only incomplete feature now is the quest system. After that, barring some cosmetic tweaks specifically to the inventory screen, and yes, the font as well, I'll have plenty more time available for world design. With all that being said, let's take a quick walkthrough of Edenvale. And just a quick note, the walkthrough is a little bit on the long side, so I'll be putting a timestamp up in the corner so you can skip to the end of the walkthrough if you like. This week's dev shoutout is going out to none other than Vive Games, who is working on a sci-fi themed stealth game in the Unreal Engine. It comes complete with stealth skills, a pretty robust sneak system, a drone for seeing enemies from above, a system for dead body detection, and even its own dialogue system. So it looks like Vive Games beat me to the punch in terms of dialogue systems. From what I've seen, the game's giving me some real Splinter Cell vibes, and if that's something you're into, then be sure to hop on over to his channel and show your support. And I think that's all I have for you today, so let's talk about where we're going to be going from here. Like I said, along with some UI redesigns, all that really is left is the quest system and a bit of environmental stuff. So I guess that will be the next episode, and then, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we'll be gearing up for a demo. Maybe I shouldn't say demo, more so a playable area of the game with a quest or two to run through and test out the game mechanics. I guess you could call that a demo. Let's call it a pre-alpha gameplay spectacular. So that's the plan. Barring some crazy disaster, episode 24 of the series will be covering quests and the next steps for our game, and the next remake video, episode 6, will be covering exactly how guns work in Knightwatch, and explain why the hell there are guns in our medieval game to begin with. So I hope you're looking forward to that as much as I am, and we'll see you in the next video.